So I'm going to run through some of the color picker procedures, features, whatever on Mac. I'll probably be referring to this post at the SketchUp forums, answering some questions by Laura and Damule. So bring it up in SketchUp. I just push B, which is standard shortcut. Up here you have all your different little palettes or whatever you want to call them. This little pill expands that part of the toolbar. A lot of people, this messes people up all the time, so just click that to open it up. So this is the brick. That's SketchUp's own little color picker. For instance, like this one's a custom one I installed that lets you enter numerical values and whatnot. So I guess let me show you standard color picker. This is text edit, just the basic thing that comes with Mac. You see, this looks pretty much like SketchUp's color picker, except we have this one called color palettes right here. And what this is the list view. It's got all these colors, names, etc. And when you launch SketchUp or use the color picker in SketchUp, this isn't available. Instead, the brick is in its place, and there's no list view in it. So that's kind of a problem. It's mainly a problem for me, especially if I'm doing some renderings and I have like two blacks. One of them might be set glossy, one's dull, and I can't tell the difference of them just by how they look until they're rendered. We do have these pop-ups. That's basically our list view to see our names. Barry from SketchUp posted a modification to the plist or the preference file that you can do that makes these pop-ups have no delay. So right when you hover over it, everything's instant. You can see what they're called, but it's sort of a global change. So all your tooltips, everything had like instant pop-ups. So I don't know, wasn't really the best setup. Anyways, so I'm in my SketchUp palette here. I guess I'll start with let me see some of these questions. Let me try to zoom this real quick. Just talking about the name. How do you change the name of a material that you're editing? You would, here, let me get some geometry in here. I'm going to apply something, let's say this fancy looking thing. So before I do any editing, what I like to do is click this little house button here, which takes me to colors and model. I could also do that this way through this drop down menu, colors and model. So I'm going to edit this. I double clicked it. If I want to change the name to my metal grate, enter, the name's changed now. That's all, it's done. If I hover over this now, it's called my metal grate. If I want to edit the color of that, I just go to the color wheel, or actually this is brightness control here on the color wheel. I can also edit the color this way. You can also, I mean, you can edit the color any way you want, actually, through the crayons. Ooh, pretty. You know, whatever is your favorite way to edit your colors. You can, I think there was a question about height. There's a question, how do I select the color material in the model? I mean, I guess I already showed you that. Just go to colors and model, or while you're in this SketchUp texture palette, click the house button. You know, that takes you to whatever materials you have in the model. This orange one, that's in my template, you know, that's why that's there. I always use that color for whatever reason. Yeah, like I said, also double clicked again. You know, this is where you can edit the size of it. Right now it's 12 by 12. I'll do 24. I have it locked so it'll update, you know, accordingly. If I want to stretch it in one direction, I can unbreak the lock, put like 4 inches, you know, and it's stretched it vertically. This, honestly, I don't know. I don't ever use it, except that reset, which takes you back to however it was when you started. I bring my textures in differently, you know, and I'll show you that in a minute. Let me just go back through this. Yeah, so the way, oh yeah, and once you're done editing, just pick close. Seriously, the way I bring materials in to SketchUp usually is I just drag and drop. This is my desktop showing over here. So I want to bring these bricks in, I just bring them in, and then I can also, you know, sort of set my scale as I bring them in. I click on it. Right now it's an image, you know, it's just a picture. If I want to make it a texture, see, it's still not showing up as a texture. I'll just right click on it and explode it. And now it's a texture. I have a shortcut set for explode, but so it's got these lines around it. You just would erase it, and then you can, you know, paint accordingly. If I want to edit the color, same thing. Just double click on it, pick my color, make some. Let's go ahead and make them like that color. My Fancy Bricks. That's the name I want it to be. I mean, see, I already scaled it somewhat visually. I can also go ahead and change the scale if I want to. You know, make them a little smaller. Whatever for you. But, so now, if I go back to colors and model, that's there. I also bring this in planks. Again, this is just a texture, you know. Or I mean, it's an image right now. Or actually, I'll do this different. You can also do a SketchUp file import. Down here, you choose what you want. I'm going to bring in a JPEG. I can either bring it in directly as an image or a texture. I'll do it with it as a texture. That if you do it this way, when you bring it in, it's automatically a texture. You know, you don't have to explode it or whatever. But I guess I could show you another feature right here too. Say I want this, so that's not really wrapping around this edge. If I wanted to, I just push Command, brings up this the eyedropper. You know what? You actually have to position it, even if you just move it a little. Then for my brush, eyedropper, now it wraps. You can also do that. That's how you kind of deal with curves. Let's put a little arc in here. So, yeah, see how these planks, they're not really going through this curve properly. This may be a bad material to use because it almost looks good. But if I turn on hidden geometry, then sample these, just got to fill it individually. Now the texture is right through that curve. Just you're basically sampling the one next to it. So anyways, that's sort of off tangent, but now let's say I want to keep these textures. I want to make a .skm out of them, which is a SketchUp material. What I would do, I would come down here to list, make a new list. It defaults as my textures. I'll go ahead and say my textures. So now I have my textures here. It's a blank list. If I want to, let's say I want this roofing or these planks as one of my textures. I'm just dragging it from there into here. If I want the bricks in there, you know, I would just sample it the way with the eyedropper, which is Command. Sampled it and it went up there. And then I would just drag and drop it down into here. So now I have, you know, in here, whatever, I got my bricks, but I also now have my textures. These won't be made into .skms until I close SketchUp. Let me show you where it'll be. Let's find it. It's a user, library, application support, Google set SketchUp 8, SketchUp. And then this is where you have all your user stuff. That's where like your autosave. Anyways, materials. The folder's already been made. And these are from, yeah, these were made because I did this already just to practice, but whatever. When I close this file, these new textures I brought in will be written to there. Some other things you can do is you have favorites down here. Just drag them and pop them in here. Say I want this stone to be my favorite. Let's see, you know. So now, no matter where I'm at in this thing, I always have access to these, my favorites, you know, and I can either just drag them and drop them onto the thing, or I can actually, you know, select it and then do it normal. Yeah, again, they're all editable, just depending on how you'd like to edit them. And probably missed some things here. Let me see. Yeah, the very slow to load material with image by Demure. I don't get that. You know, everything is fast. No list view. Yeah, that sucks. This unintuitive layout, maybe. You know, the thing I've been using Mac so long, I'm like used to the color picker, but I mean, you don't have to do what you're saying here, loading in one window. Uh, these have been answered. Yeah, how do you edit the background color of a text? I'm not quite sure. If you mean like, I don't know. I don't know what you mean by that question, the background color, but I mean, I showed you how to edit. If you're talking about, you know, selectively editing colors, like say I want to keep these slats, I want to make these blue and these green, then yeah, I think you have to do that in Photoshop. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I covered it all. Pretty much what I wanted to talk about. Yeah, just mess with the thing for 15 minutes. Drag, drop stuff around. You'll be set. All right, good luck.